Hey folks, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show for the 14th of August 2013. Little technical difficulties, that's why I'm late. Apparently Shockwave doesn't like one of my microphones, so so I'm here today, and might be here tomorrow. I did a podcast yesterday, so check it out. Wasn't that long, it was only 45 minutes, so no big deal. So anyway, today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have the one and only Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality. And we're going to talk about a whole lot of things. We got a lot of things on the plate there, okay? Now, the one thing that really stretching the old mind for logic, stretching the boundaries of the logic center of my mind, I have to say, I have never seen so much criminal activity coming out of Washington, D.C. Now, I have to admit, some of our presidents were, most of them were corrupt. And some of them were not. Well, I mean, you can look back in history. Ulysses S. Grant, corrupt president. And he's the one that was there, at the surrender of, Robert E. Lee. If my history, is correct. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's okay. By the clock, it is 10 after. I'm supposed to be well into my second segment of the show, but technical difficulties. So I'm going to follow I'm broadcasting from Spreaker, so I'm going to follow the Spreaker clock, the broadcast clock, and go from there. So, on second thought, I'm not going to do that. It's not my fault that I had technical difficulties. I have to stay on schedule. My network, I can do whatever I want. What do you think about these these people who are rodeo clowns and who get, shafted for making fun or joking around about the president? Well, that one was now banned from all opportunities of being a rodeo clown because he had a Obama mask on. A couple of years ago, somebody had a George Bush mask on. What are they doing with him? He's still a rodeo clown. So there's a double standard. We're going to talk about that today. Just so much. I'm calming down from little technical glitches at the top of the hour. So anyway, hey, folks, usually I take a break at the 5 after mark so I can just regroup and reset and go from there. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take a break at the bottom of the hour and stay on schedule. So there you go. Now, the one thing that really has me, I don't know, wanting to pull out what hair I have left. Seriously? Is it's amazing, folks. It's just amazing. What has me pulling out my hair, other than technical difficulties, is the fact that anonymous shocking current events on Facebook says, no weed, just weeds. City of Arlington SWAT raid on peaceful organic farmers is a big budget bust. Arlington, Texas. Okay. This is what drives me out of my mind, is the fact that we got police officers and law enforcement officials co-opted by Department of Homeland Security. Now they're Federal Protective Services, Homeland Security Police, they're militarized law enforcement. Raiding people for the stupidest things. Okay? Let me read you this article out of Arlington, Texas. It's also in Real, F-A-R-M-A-C-E, Real Pharmacy, pharmacy with an F, .com. At around 7:30 last Friday morning, inhabitants of the Garden of Eden, a small intentional community based on sustainability, were awakened by a SWAT raid conducted by the city of Arlington for suspicion of being a full-fledged marijuana growth and trafficking operation. First of all, let me interject something here. Intentional community based on sustainability. Personal sustainability. Growing your own garden, that kind of thing. Ultimately, the article continues here, ultimately only a single arrest was made based on unrelated outstanding traffic violations, and a handful of citations were given for city code violations. Zero drug-related violations were found. The entire operation lasted about 10 hours and involved many dozens of city officials, SWAT team, police officers, and code compliance employees, and numerous official vehicles, including dozens of police cars and several specialized vehicular equipment that was involved in the abatement, quote-unquote, abatement operation. Witnesses say that there were helicopters and unmanned flying drones circling the property in the days prior to the raid, and they are presumed to have been a part of an intelligence gathering. The combined expenses of the raid itself and collection of information leading up to the fruitless raid are estimated to be in the tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars. All 8 adults present in the house were initially handcuffed at the gunpoint of heavily armed SWAT officers, including the mother of a 22-month-old and 2-week-old baby who was separated from her children during the raid. The police enforced activity on the day of the raid included mowing the grass, the forcible destruction of both wild and cultivated plants like blackberries, lamb quarters, and okra, and the removal of other varied materials from around the premises, such as pallets, tires, cardboard, that the community members say they had collected for the use of sustainability projects. Get this, folks. No marijuana or other drugs were found on the site, and the inhabitants of the premises were all unarmed. After several hours and many requests from the community members, the city police officers finally produced 2 warrants. The first was a search warrant for a suspected marijuana growth and distribution operation purportedly being concealed on the premises. There was also an inspection and abatement warrant for code compliance violations, such as tall grass and storage in the yard, an issue that the city of Arlington and the Garden of Eden have been disputing since February of this year. The marijuana warrant was issued based on an unsubstantiated claim by an Arlington City police officer of possession of marijuana by one of the community members for which there is no police record. In other words, he lied, people. He's probably sitting around the office one day and said, you know, that little community out there, we need to raid that. I think they got marijuana. Matter of fact, I heard they did. He lied. Continuing, Garden of Eden community members also say they have a series of documents showing that their dispute with the city of Arlington over the code compliance violations had already been addressed and settled. According to them, landowner Shelley Smith states that she has been requesting a peaceful and honorable resolution since the onset of the dispute in February, requesting the aid of the city manager, Trey Yelverton, Sheriff D. Anderson, and Mayor Robert Cluck, but has received no response in the matter. Ms. Smith says, quote, "The city codes are in violation of our natural and constitutional rights to live freely while causing damage to no one, and since there is no damage to property, there has been no crime committed on our part. Rather, the city of Arlington has trespassed and committed robbery against us, amongst other crimes, and will be held accountable in a court of law in due time. We have been targeted by the system because we are showing people how to live without it. We are growing more than just tomatoes here, and we are growing the consciousness, if I can say that word, that will allow people to live freely and sustainably, and the system doesn't want that to be known," unquote. The Garden of Eden is a small intentional community in southwest Arlington dedicated to freedom, sustainability, and responsibility. Since 2009, they have been providing food, shelter, and sustainability education classes and workshops to the public for free. Their 3.5-acre land contains chickens, bees, composting stations, a large vegetable garden, and many wild crafted trees and plants that are used for foods, medicines, and household and beauty products. Their vision is to be fully self-sustaining center for education on sustainable living. To learn more about the Garden of Eden or be in support, go to www.realpharmacy.com/SWAT Team Raids Organic Farm. And that's the rest of the story. I want to say this, and I'm going to make this perfectly clear. The system, the government, all of that, they want you on the system. They want you on the system. They want you on the system. Why? Complete and utter control. It's the bottom line. Complete and utter control. Has nothing to do with you taking care of yourself. It has nothing to do with anything else other than they want complete and total control of what you do, when you do it, why you do it, how you do it. Oh yeah. Don't believe me? Read that article again. And then ask yourself this question. Why is my government, why are the politicians that I voted into office not stopping these raids on these organic farms? Why? Some of them are. Some people in Congress are cracking down on that and saying, no, you can't do that. You're violating their rights. Do you know what the police do? Do you know what the militarized law enforcement say to these politicians that say that? F you. We're doing it anyway. Because we have other bosses, and they're not yours. And you're not my boss. That's what these people are saying. Now, let me back up a second here and say that not all police officers are bad. Not all police officers are corrupt, as these other individuals are that raided this organic farm. But I'm going to tell you this much right now. Believe what you want. Agree with me, disagree with me, doesn't matter. You know what matters? It's your freedoms. And if they can do this to, several, in the last several years, several organic farms and raw milk producers in the area and in California, if they can do that to them, they can easily come to your door, knock down your door, and take everything you have and slap you with false charges and everything else and disappear you in a heartbeat if you resist. Okay? And that's the bottom line. It's just, that's as bad as it gets right there. Okay? I know. Let me switch gears here and go in this direction. I know that people are going to sit there and tell me that I'm wrong. That's not the way it's going to be. Let me play devil's advocate here for a minute. You're going to be out there and you're going to tell me that's not the way it is. You're going to tell me that, well, at least we're safe. From what? Bottom line is, folks, is you have a right to grow your own food. You have a right to sustain yourself in a way that you believe your conscience. That word has always been, that and conscious has always been tough for me to say. Any way you see fit that you believe is right for you, you have a right to go that direction. Okay? I may need speech therapy or something. I just can't say those words. Facts are facts, people. They found no drugs, no operation, none of that. They found none of that at this place. They tore up a farm for no apparent reason whatsoever. They scared the crap out of kids for no reason whatsoever. Okay? And to me, my opinion, they were totally and absolutely wrong. Okay? Totally and absolutely wrong. Okay? The police didn't have to do this. They didn't have to raid this compound, if you will, this business, because they didn't have to. They didn't have a right to. There was no reason to, okay? And the one thing that I know in my looking at history is the fact that we used to do this stuff, used to grow food when I was growing up in our backyard. Used to grow carrots, tomatoes, potatoes, squash. I mean, you name it. My grandmother used to come over and pick the stuff and cook it for dinner. We used to give our neighbors handfuls, almost armfuls of food. One of our next door neighbors, to the west of us, to the left of our property. Before she passed away, she had a huge garden, about 4 times the size of ours. And she used to bring over food to us, just here's some cucumbers and whatever, Yeah, we had but we would trade. I myself personally went over to the neighbor's house and said, here, my mom wanted to give you some carrots. So I don't want to hear this anymore. Oh, we're just trying to be safe. You people need to go stick your head in the sand. I'm going to grow my food. If it's indoors, I'm going to grow it indoors. If it's outdoors, I'm going to grow it outdoors. And no one's going to tell me I can't. I'm going to do whatever I want because I have a right to do it. And no politician and no militarized law enforcement is going to stop me. Because that food that I grow is going to go help your family. Why? Because I'm going to take some over to you. Oh, did this have pesticides on it? No, I washed it after I picked it. My mom used to wash the cucumbers, the carrots, the potatoes. She used to put them in the sink, wash them up, clean them up, take all that crap off of them. I don't want to hear it anymore. You people that say, the cops didn't know. They didn't know. Well, why didn't they have one single officer go over there and substantiate the claims of another officer and just play it by ear from there? it would have been a lot easier, and this police department in Arlington, Texas would not be getting the shaft in the social media that they're getting at this moment. You people need to understand, the people that are saying, well, you people need to understand one very valuable thing, and it's this. Regardless of what you want, and if you want to align yourself with the dark hearts of these stormtroopers that break into your house and steal your home for the banks and tear up your crops and take your property, if you want to side with them, you're dumber than a box of rocks. Get the hell out of my country. Matter of fact, I'll help you pack. Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Want to know what's happening all around us? You do? Great! Come check out the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Forever Me by Thomas Amo. Hannah Richards isn't your typical 16-year-old at Wichita Falls High. Fashion, trends, cosmetic, and style are unimportant to her. An avid reader, guitar player, and classic movie and television buff, Hannah marches to the beat of her own drum. Visible only to her father, the town sheriff, and her two best friends, Lauren and Haley, Hannah lives a simple, unpampered life as an Eastie. After coming to the aid of Taylor Monroe, a popular member of the Stilettos at school, and a series of misunderstandings with her friends, Hannah is forced to reinvent herself. She quickly gets caught up in a life much different than the one she knows, where status, glamour, makeup, and appearance and acceptance become her masters. And what of the dark secret that haunts the streets of Wichita Falls? Can Hannah survive the lies, deceit, jealousy, and rage that are now waiting for her around every corner? Will she succumb to the pressures of popularity? Or will she be crushed under the heels of the Stilettos? High school is hard enough just being yourself, let alone trying to be someone you're not. Forever Me by Thomas Amo. Available on the Kindle at Amazon.com.
Listen to DJ Russ on Rap More Than Words, with songs like the Black Eyed Peas' Don't Stop the Party.
This is that original. This has no identical. You can't hack my digital. Future aboriginal.
And Flow Rider, Let It Roll.
Good time, go home. Come on, baby, let the good times go home. Come on, baby, let the good times go home. Come on, baby.
And many more of your rap hits right here on Spreaker.com.
Hey folks, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You're listening to The Wayne S. Pierce Show. Please email me at WayneSPierceShow@USA.com. Wayne S. Pierce Show at USA.com. We're here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Hey, folks, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Wayne S. Pierce Show. You can come check me out on the Views Express today. We will have Mr. Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality. You can check out more of what he talks about and everything on his podcast at distortedreality.podbean.com or his Facebook page, Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. So check that out as well. I have him on the show today. At some point this week, maybe at the beginning of next week, I'll have Brian Keller from Just BK on the show. And we will discuss what is happening in our world today. Most of you know, or tried to get here at 1 o'clock. I wasn't here for 10 minutes because I had some technical difficulties. Seems like I'm having speech problems too. But anyway, we have a lot going on today. I may just go ahead and go right up to 3 o'clock. I usually do a 1 hour show, but there's so much going on. I got a lot of opinions for it. Just may go up to 3 o'clock today. The Views Express Live is at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Broadcasting live from Spreaker.com, but you can also listen to it live and previous shows at freeamericaradio.weebly.com. Check that out as well. Just a lot going on. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of Obama saying one thing and doing another. Well, we knew he was going to do that. Now, full disclosure here, I want to ask you a question. How many of you in 2008 got caught up in the hype and thought, yeah, he's good, oh, whatever. 4 years later, you find out, or maybe even a year later, you find out, oh, did you make a huge mistake? Yeah, I raised my hand in that. Yeah, I got caught up in the hype. He is a fabulous orator if he has a teleprompter, much like George W. Bush. That's the only things I can compare those two with, because they both use teleprompters. And got caught up in the hype, got caught up in the, as Living Color sings about, the cult of personality. Now, I've had an opportunity and for many, many months kicked myself in the ass for making that choice. Pardon my French. You can bleep that out if you want. But the fact of the matter is that we get caught up in all these things that we fail to take a moment and sit back and examine these things because we're so caught up in the emotional fervor of just, you know, oh look, a new face is on the playing field. Who is that? Oh my God, you know, and all of this, and then we start getting behind the scenes, and we start looking behind the scenes, and we start seeing what's going on, and we happen to, in the last 5 to 6 years, we happen to realize who this guy truly is. He's nothing but a fascist, Marxist, dictatorial. I would say a few more choice words, but I'm going to be nice. I'm going to save your ears from the profanity that is now circling in my mind of the many names that I could call this person. Oh, you don't like him because he's black. No, I don't like him because he's against the Constitution. Oh, you don't like him because he wants to do this country really well. He wants to make things work. No, he wants to be a dictator. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he wants to repeal the 15th Amendment and run for a third term. Switching gears just for a minute, and I'll get back to that. The Views Express Live and the Wayne S. Pierce Show are changing. More news about that later. But as we go and we look at these things about this president, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The first thing that comes to mind is that he wants to destroy the Constitution. And he wants to, he wants to please his New World Order bosses. So who do you think put him up to it in 2004 and 2006? Who do you think did that? Certainly wasn't his constituents out of Chicago, was it? Certainly wasn't, any number of his connections, was it? At Acorn? No. He was a young upstart that had very socialistic, very fascist ideas about this country, and, well, the powers that be that actually run Washington, D.C. thought that he would be a great puppet. Well, they found out wrong. But they're going to push it. And it's not about him. It's about what he can do to change things, to give, or I should say, to push the door completely open for the New World Order to take over the United States of America, which they already have under certain Agenda 21 Sustainable Development policies of the United Nations. And we are now a North American Union. We're no longer a constitutional republic. Fat chance that we are in the last 5 or 6 years. And the absurdity of the things that he does. The absurdity of the things that he does. You should have got a clue when you heard a title of his book, Audacity of Hope. Is it audacious that we have hope? Is it beyond imagination? Is it what is it? I mean, seriously. The audacity of hope. You know what the word audacity means? Boldness or daring, especially with confidence or arrogant disregard for personal safety, conventional thought, or other restrictions. Effrontery, EFFRONTERY, or insolence, shameless boldness, nerve, spunk, grit, temerity, foolhardiness. Okay? The audacity of hope, the arrogance of hope, the boldness, the conventional thought. What's so wrong with hope? Nothing by itself. But when you clarify it, when you put the operative in there that says it's audacious, it's shameless, it's this, what? It's arrogant hope. The audacity of hope, the arrogance of hope. So basically what he was saying, and I never read the book, and I'm not going to because I'm not going to give him another dime. I'll let the other people do it. So when you just look at that title and that, from that point of view, you're going to think, well, he's literally saying there is no hope. The arrogance of hope. I'm so bold. Hey, I'm very, well, some people would say, well, he's just being over positive. He's being optimistic. Look at his background, folks. Look where he came from. The Church of Jeremiah Wright. Look where he came from. Acorn. Look where he came from. Acorn is subsidized by the Tides Foundation. Look where he came from. So don't give me this crap that he's a good person. But let me play the other side of that coin, if I would please. He might seem on the outside like a very good father and a very good man and a very good person. I would not mind at all, as I said in the past, of sitting down and having a soda with him. I would not mind at all. You know why? Because he's a human being. And he has flaws. And he's not perfect. And he's not the Messiah. And he's not the second coming incarnation of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He's not. But look at the people that follow him. I don't know. I don't know if the posts on Facebook were mocking the people that were following him or mocking him by showing who's following him. I don't know. But there are some stupid people out there following this guy. And when I say stupid, I'm talking a tree has more smarts than these people. A rock has better intelligence than some of these people. Oh, now you're just offending people. No, I'm not. I'm being real. This is how it is, folks. If you don't like it, there's other shows you can look at and listen to on Spreaker and elsewhere. I mean, go ahead, check those shows out. But they're not going to give you the truth. They're not going to give you the facts. They're not going to tell you what's happening in California right now. California State Senate passes ammunition purchase permit bill. The state Senate. If it goes through the House and they defeat it, it's not going to get signed. But if it goes through the House and the governor, Moonbeam Brown, Governor Jerry Brown signs it, you people in California are screwed. Screwed. Oh, yeah. I know the argument. Well, it's going to keep the bullets out of the hands of the criminals, and that way they can't get any bullets. No, they're going to break into your house and steal yours. How do you think they got their gun, jerkwad? Now you're just calling names because you don't have any information to really substantiate any of that claims that you make. Really? I've heard the arguments from one end of the spectrum to the other. Let me tell you, anybody that argues with me on any of the points that I make without even having any shred of proof on their side is dumber than the stuff I scrape off the bottom of my shoe. From BearingArms.com, it's on. California State Senate passes ammunition purchase permit bill. Remind me again, history majors, what were the British attempting at Lexington and Concord that kicked off the little kerfuffle on April 19th, 1775? Oh, yeah, a powder raid. It looks like another powder raid is on in California State Senate as anti-gun Democrats try to pass an absurd ammunition purchase bill, quote, a controversial gun measure proposed by a Southern California lawmaker that would require background checks for all ammunition purchases statewide is moving forward in California. Senator Kevin DeLeon, Democrat of Los Angeles, first introduced a Senate Bill 53 last December, which would require anyone wishing to purchase ammunition in California to first obtain an ammunition purchase permit issued by the Department of Justice, valid for 1 year from the date of issuance. To obtain such a permit, the holder would have to pass a traditional background check as well as a mental health check, according to DeLeon. The legislation would also ban online and mail order sales of ammunition to Californians. In addition, SB 53 would require all ammunition sales to take place at a limited list of state-approved, quote-unquote, ammunition vendors. It would also be required to submit sales records to the California Department of Justice, unquote. Tellingly, the national media nationwide are darn near silent on this most controversial bit of legislation. It's almost as if they want this to pass without California citizens finding out it was even being considered. Do DeLeon and any of the other anti-gun California senators really think that passing another time-consuming, expansive gun control law is really going to have any effect on criminals? Of course not. Their goal is to disarm. The goal is the disarmament of law-abiding citizens. I said it that way for two reasons. Emphasis and to say it clearly. If anyone ever wanted to invest in a strong... See, I can't even read either. If anyone ever wanted to invest in a string of stores specializing in by-the-case ammo sales and while-you-wait automobile suspension adjustments just over the state line on every highway leading into the Golden State, now might be a good time to start lining up investors. I'm done, people. I used to say it, but now I got to change the tune. Because the music has changed. I used to say that California is in the toilet waiting for somebody to push the handle. Let me tell you something, Californians. Somebody push the handle. You're done. California is done. California is no longer part of the United States of America by proxy because of the fact that you now are living in a police state. Now, don't give me this crap that you're not. Don't give me this crap that, well, you just don't know. I was born and raised in Stockton, California, in San Joaquin County, California. I went from one end of California to the other. I spent a lot of time on the streets. I know police officers. I know sheriff's officers. I don't want to hear your crap anymore. You're done. Pack your bags and leave California now. The people that really want freedom for themselves and freedom to grow their own food and freedom to carry a weapon wherever they go. By the way, Montana, open carry state. Nevada, open carry shall issue state. You people in California are dumber than a box of rocks because you're letting the Mexicans run rampant all through Southern California and just take every job that you have. And then you're allowing some stupid a-hole in Sacramento, California, called the governor, to, not even look at this issue until it gets across his desk. And then he's going to side with his bosses of the New World Order. By the way, his father, Pat Brown, was dumber than a box of rocks, too. My mother told me. My mother said, and I quote, Pat Brown was the stupidest governor we ever had, unquote. California, you're done. Pack it and leave. You're done. Unless you want to stick around and take your state back, but that's going to be a little difficult due to the fact that you have larger amounts of militarized law enforcement than Nevada. Hey, we've seen people in U-Hauls here leaving the state. So don't come here because people are leaving. They're going to Texas, they're going to Montana, they're going to Utah, they're going elsewhere. They're getting off of the West Coast. As goes California, so goes Nevada. Now, I have to hand it to Mr. Brian Sandoval, the governor here, who vetoed a bill last month for universal background checks because he says that we have a right to carry a weapon. Now, I absolutely give him kudos on that and virtual high fives all the way around for his administration. But I guarantee you that there were some people in the legislative halls up there in Carson City, or down there in Carson City, it's only 35 miles away from us, that literally are livid that he didn't sign this thing. And there are citizens out there saying he should have signed it. I don't know why he didn't sign it. Blah, 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 blah. Well, those people need to pack up and leave. Why? Because you obviously aren't going to get your way. And your way is not the way of freedom and peace and liberty and the Constitution. Your way is total abolition of the Second Amendment. Your way is total gun control and confiscation, because that's what it is. I'm done with you people. You don't like it? You better bring it to the table. And if you don't like what I say, pack your crap and move. You don't have a right to tell people anything. You don't know the issues. I don't. I've studied this stuff for well over 30 years. Don't give me any more of your crap. I'm done. Sorry for the rant, folks. I apologize, but I get really, really pissed off at stupid people, okay? I'm done with stupid people. They better go get themselves educated. They better smile on the way out of Nevada, because that's where they need to be headed. You can't tell people what to do. No, I can't. So let me make this official right now. I apologize. I apologize for telling people what to do. I apologize for telling people that they have to leave the state. I apologize not for what I say, but how I say it. So to all those people that I seem to have offended in this last 10 minutes, let me say two words to you, which I know you understand quite well. Bite me. Okay? I'm done with your bull crap. You can leave now. Bye-bye. We don't want your anal retentive, gun confiscating ass here. Go away now. You're not needed in this state. Oh, and by the way, take the Mexicans with you. 25% of Nevada has foreign, I should say, not just Mexican, but the vast majority of them are foreign immigrants here. That's what I was looking for. 25% of Nevada. And I would say anywhere between 7 to 10% of those are illegal aliens. So why don't you take 7 to 10% of those people and get the hell out? Now. Bye. Don't need you here. Bye-bye. Well, you're just mean. You just don't want anybody to make their life better. Yeah, I do. Do it legally. That just takes too long and it's too expensive. Not my problem. So there you go. Can we have one day without the insanity of Washington, D.C.? Can we have one day? Just one day. Just that's all I ask. Just one day. That we don't have to listen to the bullcrap coming out of President Obama's mouth. You're cruel. You're a racist. No, I'm not. I'm a realist. And by the way, I'm not a racist or prejudiced of anybody. I got friends of every race, creed, color, and sexual orientation you can think of. I grew up in California, damn it. I have all these friends. It's very simple. They're human beings, just like President Obama, and I said yes, I would sit down and have a soda with him. It's okay. I don't mind that. He's a human being. I'd talk to him about anything, including his golf game and his, multiple vacations in one year. I'll be back after this. The people of the world are bound by the collective mindset of the true controllers of the United States of America and the rest of the world. The chains of tyranny are being tightened around the liberties and freedoms of free societies. It is the obligation and the duty of those that seek to adhere to the principles of our founding fathers to defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights from enemies, foreign and domestic. We, the people, have the power. We have the ability to change the direction of our lives. We have the ability to get the word out to others that we must rise, stand, and defend our families and friends from the onslaught of the leaders that want tyranny in the United States of America. We, the people, have the power. We are America. The views expressed Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. Hey, folks, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show. How you doing? I'm Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Yes, you are there. I'm here. It's the 14th of August, 2013. Welcome to the show. If you're in the Spreaker chat, please say hi. Let me know you're there. Anyway, I want to give a big shout out to Brian Keller, Just BK, over at RadioKahuna.com. Also, Steve Hembry over there at Radio Kahuna and Neuron.net. Today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Views Expressed, I'll have Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality Radio. You can go check out his Facebook at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker, and also his podcast, distortedreality.podbean.com. Check that out as well. You can also check out Angel Clark Show, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern, radiofreedom.us. So check that out as well. Awesome shows. Also on Spreaker. There's so many things going on, so many things that people aren't really aware of that I try to get people aware of, such as the invisible hazards of quote-unquote smart meters. The Celoton Scientific Statement recommends that lower limits be established for electromagnetic fields and wireless exposures based on scientific studies reporting health impacts at much lower exposure levels. Many researchers now believe that existing safety limits are inadequate to protect public health because they do not consider prolonged exposure to lower emission levels that are now widespread. Current U.S. standards for radio frequency and microwave radiation from wireless technologies are entirely inadequate. They were never intended to address this kind of exposure from wireless devices that now affect over 4 billion people, unquote. The Celoton, S-E-L-E-T-U-N, the Celoton, there we go, Scientific Statement, February 3rd, 2011. Do you have a new smart meter? Over the past year and a half, various power companies have been removing the analog or disc-like meters placed on your homes, apartments, and businesses and installing what they call their new smart meters. This is part of a larger plan throughout the U.S. and Canada where these meters have already been installed. Quote, according to the Edison Foundation, more than 8 million smart meters have been deployed by the electric utilities in the United States, and nearly 60 million should be in place by 2020. Number one, in Canada, 2 million of these meters are planned. Quote, BC Hydro has a $930 million rollout of smart meters installation that began on July 4th. Two, the U.S. Nationwide program is driven in part by funding for the Smart Grid program. Get this, approved as part of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, unquote. Number three, quote, there is a great concern because exposure to microwave and radio wave radiation from these meters is involuntary, can't speak, quote, there is great concern because exposure to microwave and radio wave radiation from these meters involuntary and continuous. It should be is involuntary and continuous. The transmitting meters may not even comply with FCC safety standards. These standards are totally outdated and were not designed to protect a diverse population from non-thermal effects of continuous exposure to microwave and radio wave radiation. Therefore, these safety standards were not designed to protect the public from health problems under the circumstances which the meters are being used, unquote. In other words, the meters are not, should be taken out. Literally. That's from wakeupcallnews.blogspot.com. Go check that out. There's a link there on Liberty and Freedom Network, on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. Yeah, I'm done with stupid people. I'm just telling you straight up right now. We need to force Harry Reid into retirement. Midterms are coming up. I'm sure that'll happen unless 25% of the illegal aliens that are here vote for him. The newest race baiter, Harry Reid. Reid recently suggested that Republicans may be resisting President Obama's policies because he's an African American. It says here, if you think this unfair, and that Reid is the one being racist and is with his ridiculous comment. Michelle Malkin destroyed his statement. Let's go read what Michelle Malkin said, shall we? If this stupid thing doesn't... Okay, here we go. Reid is not getting away with his outrageous suggestions. Senator Tim Scott, Republican of South Carolina, one of the only two African Americans currently serving in the U.S. Senate, described the comments as offensive and called for his apology. Quote, I am sincerely disappointed by continued attempts to divide the American people by playing to the lowest common denominator. The highest common denominator is wanting to survive. Instead of engaging in serious debate about the failed policies of this administration, Democrats are once again trying to hide behind a smokescreen, unquote. Quote, our country deserves more from those in Washington, unquote. Scott continued, quote, I hope Senator Reid will realize the offensive nature of his remarks and apologize to those who disagree with the president's policies because of one thing. They are hurting, hardworking American families, unquote. The Obama administration hasn't made it difficult to find quote-unquote substance or evidence to go against its policies. Between the numerous scandals plaguing the administration, as well as the president's blatant disregard for the Constitution and the rule of law, for example, picking and choosing which parts of the Obamacare he will implement, opposing the president's policy looks a lot more like common sense than 19th century racism. Reid and his constituency are growing so desperate to defend Obama's failing policies that they are now taking plays straight from the liberal media's handbook and shouting racism to avoid addressing the deep problems rooted in Obama's liberal agenda. There's a video there with Michelle Malkin who just literally took on Harry Reid and his defenders. So you might want to watch that. The dangers of Tylenol, I read about that yesterday. I don't really, and this is just me. This is just me. I really don't understand what it is that people are so offended by when it comes to race. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that one thing is that offends you that somebody else is a different color than you are. Maybe I do know what it is. How about this? It was behavior. You were raised in an environment that constantly talked about race, talked about how stupid all these other people are, and all this, that, and the other thing. No matter what your race was, you grew up in that type of environment. It's more in the community of the Caucasians because of the fact that anyone who looks at history will see the devastating effects of racism. Okay? We had this thing called slavery in this country, so anybody that was in the slave trades. Oh, and by the way, folks, there weren't just black slaves. There were Oriental, Asian, Chinese, Japanese. There were blacks, but guess what? Guess over in Europe, guess what? There were white slaves, too. So I don't want to hear any more crap about it. We're all human beings. We need to get over this race bull crap. You're an American. You're a citizen, hopefully. And you're a human. You're part of humanity, regardless of race. So knock it off. Senator Harry Reid and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and probably Nancy Pelosi. Who knows? They're all race-baiting, democratic, fascist pigs, and they don't give a crap about the Constitution whatsoever. But we do. Myself, my listeners, people around me. Oh, and I guarantee you we will make it our business. As much as they're shoving their liberal bull crap down our throat and their New World Order bull crap down our throat, we're going to slam the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in their face, and we're going to say this is how it's going to be. And if you don't like it, you are in total and absolute opposition to the free, liberty-loving people of America, and you have committed treason. And the next step in that parade is throwing their asses in jail. But see, we don't do that. You know why? Because people here in America, there are protests. There's one coming up this weekend here in Reno. There are people that protest. But not in the magnitude as they do in Turkey and Egypt and Brazil and a few other places. You're not going to see hundreds of thousands of people or tens of thousands of people on the downtown streets of Reno, Nevada. You're not. Why? People don't give a crap. I got a video up on my YouTube channel, ULC Rev 62, of Hot August nights. And I was just walking down the street, taking a video, doing a video. And I noticed somebody walking with a flag, and on the flag it said Infowars.com. So there's one person. I shook his hand, walked up to him. He gave me a bumper sticker and all that. I gave him my card for this show and for the Free America Radio Network. And I got to tell you something. It felt good to see somebody else out there as well. As we were walking back to the car, we were leaving. We saw that it's Hot August Nights is about, fancy old, cars and 50s and 60s and all of that. And it's very, very good. It's very successful for Reno because it brings in a lot of revenue for all of the casinos and, people like that. Really, they don't make a profit, but they are successful every year, pretty much. So we were getting ready to leave, myself and Diana. We were walking down the street, and we saw four cops, four, servants of the New World Order. I don't know. I'm speculating. I saw four cops, but then I saw they were talking to somebody, and this person got up and started walking away, and this other cop came up and, this guy was walking away. The cops had questioned him, and he was walking away. And this one cop, 5 nothing type of dude, walked up and said, "Excuse me, what'd you say?" And he started getting up in his face. I just kept on walking. It's not that I wanted to stop. It's not that I just overheard some of the things. And let me tell you something. This cop was being a prick. Complete and utter prick. Okay? Guy didn't do anything. He answered the questions and he was walking off. And, and besides, that cop didn't go to history class when he was in school because there is a Constitution. And we have the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights says, I have freedom of speech. I'll call you every name in the book and make up a few. And I really don't care because it's my freedom of speech. And if you don't like it, lump it. I'll call you anything I want. Gonna arrest me? I'll sue your ass. You don't like it? I don't care. I got a Constitution to protect. And you jackwads think that you can just walk all over it? Ain't happening in my backyard, buddy. That's just the way it is. And I'm a little fired up today, folks. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the top of the hour. I'm going to go to 3 o'clock. That gives me an hour to prepare for the views expressed at 4 o'clock Pacific, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And let me tell you something. I just want to be very open at this point. I just want to be very, very clear. Okay? I will not put up with stupid people anymore. I won't. I just won't. If you want to not care about your rights and anything of that nature, you just go to the beach and have fun. You just go in your house, you close your door, and enjoy your stupid reality shows and your dumb sports programs. As for me and my house, we will serve not so much the Lord, but that's one of the quotes, but I'm going to paraphrase and say we will stand on the Constitution of the United States of America. There's always going to be opposition. Always. People oppose me left and right. I get emails. I get posts on Facebook. They oppose me left and right. Literally. Republican and Democrats and liberals and conservative. Why? Because they don't like what I say. because I share with them the truth one fact at a time, and they hate the facts. Well, that's your facts. I'll bring my facts to the table. Well, then go ahead. And I told them that in my Facebook post. Hey, if you got something you want to bring up, then fine. You want to prove me wrong, then go ahead. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. And that's the excuse that I get. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Yeah, you do. You got to prove it to yourself. No, I just know it. Okay, stupid person. Go sit in the corner with your dunce cap on, because that's all you're good for. And I'll point my finger at you and make fun of you every single time. That's harsh. People won't want to listen to your show. Really? Do me a favor. Line up. Well, you don't have to do me a favor. Do this as a test. Line up 5 people. Take a book. I don't care. Pick one. Put it on a table in front of these 5 people. Walk out of the room. Well, before you walk out of the room, look at them and say, anybody read this book recently? And then walk out of the room. You're going to find that these 5 people are going to argue about the points of the book. You're going to find that at least one person read the book completely and understands it. You're going to find that that one person is trying to convey to the rest of them what the book is about, and these people are disagreeing with them, except for one. So you have 3 other people arguing over the nuances and the fine points of the book. You got one person sitting back, just taking it all in and listening. Walk back into the room and then ask them a question. How many of you have read this book and understand it? You're going to get that one person raising his hand. Now guess what? Who has learned more? Was it the person that read the book? Or was it the person that sat silent listening to everyone else argue about the finer points of that book? You see, the more you keep your damn mouth shut and listen, you will learn a hell of a lot more. And when the subject of that book comes up again, you may have, if not soon, read that book and know about it. And you can be that one in 5 that will be able to talk about that book and discuss it with other people and sit there and listen to 3 to 4 other people argue about the finer points of the book. Yeah, I know I'm harsh. Yeah, I know that I say things that I'm a realist, people. I see what's going on, and I try to share that with people. Hey, look, there's this, and I share that with you. And then I share with you the websites, and I read to you the articles. And all I suggest is that you go out and find it on your own. Figure it out on your own. Draw your own conclusion. You don't have to believe me. But at least you hear what I have to say and you go check it out. And don't give me this crap that, well, I saw the article, I just haven't read it, so, I'll get back to you. I'll read it and get back to you, and then we'll talk about it. 99.9999% of the time, no one ever does. Does it bother me? No, not at all. Doesn't bother me at all, really, to tell you the truth. But I can tell you this much. If I tell somebody I'm going to go check it out and then come back and talk about it, I do. I seriously do. Here's the thing. You got 2 choices in life. You can either go along to get along, that's what people are doing now. or you can think for yourself. That's the only two choices that you have. That's it. You can either go along and get along, or think for yourself. What's the more liberated way of living? I think you have your answer.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/eastlandfilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. Hey folks, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the Wayne S. Pierce Show. Yeah, I'm going to take off here at the top of the hour. I'm not leaving yet. Jeez. Top of the hour, I'm going to go. Get ready for the views expressed. Today I'll have Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality on. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook, or distortedreality.podbean.com. Go check that out as well. Lots of things going on, lots of things that I wanted to talk to. I know I was a little, let's just say a little harsh in the first hour. Yeah, wouldn't you be? I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. A little town in Wisconsin has been awarded armored tanks in preparation for police state. Go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show on Facebook. Excuse me. Wayne S. Pierce Show on Facebook from Kent Stark. It's a photo. He's a teacher and a true American. A fourth grade teacher was brave enough to send Mr. Obama a letter. She writes, "I've had it with you and your administration, sir. Your conduct on your recent trip overseas has convinced me that you are not an adequate representative of the United States of America collectively or for me personally. You are so obsessed with appeasing the Europeans and the Muslim world that you have abdicated the responsibilities of the President of the United States of America. You are responsible to the citizens of the United States. You are not responsible to the peoples of any other country on earth." And this woman here said, "I personally resent that you go around the world apologizing for the United States, telling Europeans that we are arrogant and do not care about their status in the world. Sir, what do you think the First World War and the Second World War were all about, if not the consideration of the peoples of Europe? Are you brain dead? What do you think the Marshall Plan was all about? Do you not understand or know the history of the 20th century? Where do you get off telling a Muslim country that the United States does not consider itself a Christian country? Have you not read the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution of the United States? This country was founded on Judeo-Christian ethics and the principles governing this country, at least until you came along, come directly from this heritage. Do you not understand this? You're bowing to the king of Saudi Arabia is an affront to all Americans. Our president does not bow down to anyone, let alone the king of Saudi Arabia. You didn't show Great Britain, our best and one of the oldest allies, the respect they deserve, yet you bow down to the king of Saudi Arabia? How dare you, sir? How dare you? You can't find the time to visit the graves of our greatest generation because you don't want to offend the Germans, but make time to visit a mosque in Turkey. You offended our dead and every veteran when you give the Germans more respect than the people who saved the German people from themselves. What's the matter with you? I am convinced that you and the members of your administration have the historical and intellectual depth of a mud puddle and should be ashamed of yourselves, all of you. You are so self-righteously offended by the big bankers and the American automobile manufacturers, yet you do nothing about the real thieves in this situation. Mr. Dodd, Mr. Frank, Franklin Raines, Jamie Gorelick, and the Fannie Mae bonuses and the Freddie Mac bonuses. What do you intend to do about them? Anything? I seriously doubt it. What about the U.S. House members passing the $9.1 million in bonuses to their staff members on top of the $2.5 million in automatic pay raises that lawmakers gave themselves? I understand the average House aide got a 17% bonus. I took a 5% cut in pay to save my jobs with my employer. You haven't said anything about that. Who authorized that? I sure didn't. Executives at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will be receiving $210 million in bonuses over an 18-month period. That's $45 million more than the AIG bonuses. In fact, Fannie and Freddie executives have already been awarded $51 million. Not a bad take. Who authorized that, and why haven't you expressed your outrage at this group, who are largely responsible for the economic mess we have right now? I resent that you take me and my fellow citizens as brain dead and not caring about what you idiots do. We are watching what you are doing, and we are getting increasingly fed up with all of you. I also want you to know that I personally, this woman said in this letter to President Obama, I also want you to know that I personally find just about everything you do and say to be offensive to every one of my sensibilities. I promise you that I will work tirelessly to see that you do not get a chance to spend 2 terms destroying my beautiful country. Sincerely, every real American. P.S. I rarely ask that emails be passed around. Please send this to your email list. It's past time for all Americans to wake up. Ms. Kathleen Lyde, 4th grade teacher, Grandview Elementary School, 11470 Highway C, Hillsboro, Missouri, 63050. And in parentheses it says, this woman may lose her job for this letter. I believe we owe it to her for her expressing the outrage that we feel but fail to address. Please pass this on. There's an update. I got this off another page, and it may or may not have been written by her, maybe written by someone else, but whoever wrote it is brave, and I'm glad to share it. I do not accept any responsibility of it being authentic, but it's written well, and I'm proud to call whoever wrote it a patriot. The picture is funny, an expression of free speech, and the picture may not be her or the author, but it made me smile, so I reposted the whole thing. So go check that out. It's a woman sitting there flipping the bird. There's always going to be opposition. Doesn't matter. There's always going to be opposition. There's always going to be someone that's going to disagree with you. My question is this. Do they have the proof? Think about it. I always say that people need to prove themselves right. Well, I give you links. I give you articles. I read them to you. I give you everything that I have, almost. And it's all up there. It's on the Wayne S. Beer Show on Facebook. It's on Free America Radio on Facebook. And you're going to go read it, and you're going to have your own oppositional thought about it. Oppositional in terms of the fact that I have my opinions, and I've probably told you about them. But you're going to be in total opposition to it. Well, I can think the way I want. That's one excuse. I can believe what I want. That's another excuse. So let me ask you a question. You go out of your way and use up an incredible amount of energy to deflect any truth, any facts whatsoever. And then you're going to have the gall to criticize me for what you believe is wrong or what you would consider to be a conspiracy theory? You are truly dumber than a box of rocks. I have never once in my life ever had a moment where I wasn't capable of learning something. Everything that was there, I learned about it. I've read books, I've talked to teachers, I've talked to many different people. I learn about this stuff. I can also tell you this much. That as I go about disseminating this information and telling you all of the things that you need to know that I would like to tell you about what's going on, and hopefully I encourage you to go, find this stuff out on your own. But if you don't, I'm telling you this is the truth and that's it. And if you still don't believe me, not my problem. I got the information out. You heard it. It's up to you whether or not you want to go check it out. It's just the way it is. There's a lot of things going on. Let me give you a preview of what's coming up on the Views Express Live. We got Mr. Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality Radio. Go to Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. Go to distortedreality.podbean.com to check out his podcast. Got a lot going on. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook, and I'll give you a preview of what's going on the show. He's going to be on for an hour. And so we're going to get into a whole host of things. From disinfo.com, disturbing corporate paramilitaries appear in Wisconsin. From A Sheep No More on Facebook, Obama will sign UN gun treaty while Congress is on vacation. Also from Second Amendment on Facebook, it's on. California State Senate passes ammunition purchase permit bill. From Police State USA, land at the checkpoints. DEA has doubled its asset seizures since 2001 thanks to domestic NSA spying. Excuse me. From America's Misguided Children. There's a picture up there that says Obama signed the UN Small Arms Treaty. Come and take my guns, libtards. I'll give you the bullets first. I would rather die a free American than a spineless liberal bitch. From Police State USA, land at the checkpoints, White House, quote-unquote, behavioral insights team will perform psyops on the public. From Government Slaves, or GOVT, short for government, slaves.info, farmers to face fines or prison sentences for selling food directly to customers. The U.S. Army is practicing taking over small towns in America while gathering intel on community leaders. I read that a few days ago, actually. I don't know, folks. More and more and more and more and more, it's coming out. And you really don't care? You really don't give a crap? Well, I can't blame you, really. I can't blame you because you really don't understand and you really don't want to understand. I'm talking not to the people that follow this show because I know that you people are very much aware of what's going on and I'm preaching to the choir. But I'm talking to those people that are listening to the show for the first time and trying to wrap their minds around what's going on around them. Why is there military in the streets? Why is there checkpoints in the streets? Why is there Federal Protective Services, Homeland Security Police in their cities? I'm trying to enlighten you as to why. But you're sitting there thinking, oh, this guy's crazy. Really? I can tell you this much. I ain't the crazy one. Like I used that metaphor before where 5 people are in a room and you walk in, you put a book on the table. Then you ask them, has anybody read the book? And then you leave the room. One person is just going to sit there and listen to everybody else argue about it. But that person's the smartest person in the room because he's going to listen and learn. And he's going to take that with him when he leaves. See? So I know that there are people out there who are smart enough to know what's going on. You're probably listening now. But I also know there's people out there that just absolutely don't really give a crap. They don't care. They laugh at everything. They laugh at somebody else's, dysfunctions and all, and they don't care. They make poop jokes. They don't care. And I'm kind of sad for those people. I feel a bit of sympathy for them. I feel sorry for them. But there's really not much that a person like myself can do to change their minds. In other words, I can't walk up to you and change your mind. I can't twist your arm to make you believe what I believe, what I see. I can't make you see it. You have to do that on your own. I don't know too many people that do. But I do know this. I do know that there are people out there who, no matter what, whether they disagree with me or agree with me, they're going to be that one silent person in the room learning everything. And if I ever met that person, I would trust them more than I would anyone else. I really would. Because they're assessing the situation and drawing their own conclusions as to what's being said and what's being argued about. And then they're going to get up and go look it up themselves. They're going to do their homework. They're going to be the one that comes into another room with 4 other people and someone walks in and says, "Has anybody read this book?" They're the ones that are going to be argued with by 3 other people when the 4th person is going to be sitting there taking it all in. See? So, if anything, the lesson in all of this is do your homework. Do your homework. Look around. Examine things. It's the only way you're ever going to learn. It's the only way you're ever going to see what's going on. You can either do that or just sit back and pretend that none of this ever existed. Pretend that none of this ever exists. Close your eyes to try to make it go away, but you know what? Every time you open your eyes, it's still going to be here. So you really need to take a look at this and examine this and examine what I say. I give you websites, I give you the articles. I tell you what's going on. But then again, how many shows can you watch on TV while the world burns around you? How many shows can you be a fan of and sit around and not care about your freedoms or liberties or anybody else's freedoms or liberties? How can you just sit there and see all of this? How? I know it's a little early, folks, but I'm going to take a little break. Well, little. It's going to be a long break. I'm not going to say little. This one's going to be quite a long break. And there's going to be a music break in there. Throw you some music. Just music, no words, no nothing, just music. So, I'll be back.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce ending the show here in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. So, what I want to remind you of is on the Views Expressed live today, we will have Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality Radio. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook or distortedreality.podbean.com. Check out his podcast as well. He'll be on the show for about an hour, and that's 1 hour from now on the Views Expressed live. You can listen to it on Spreaker.com or go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com. And we will see you then. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You can catch the Wayne S. Pierce Show Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 Eastern, on Spreaker.com or the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. Check it out, and I shall see you in about an hour. I shall hopefully come into the chat room, say hi. The Views Express live right here on Spreaker.com.